Good morning, guys. So far we have seen the basics of digital system design, and we gradually moved on to the combinational circuit design. So today we shall start with the sequential circuit design. That is our third unit. So for your CAT, you have from this Quine-McCluskey method, that is logic minimization using Quine-McCluskey method in the second unit. From there till half of the third unit you have for your CAT. Okay. Okay. So let us move on to the third unit, sequential circuit design. So let us see what are the basics with respect to the sequential circuit design. So in this, you will be seeing the different types of digital circuits. I have already informed you about the types, the combinational and sequential circuit. We will see furthermore in detail with respect to the sequential circuit. Then we will see the basic block used in designing the sequential circuit, that is with respect to the latches and flip-flops. Then we will study about the different types of flip-flops and the flip-flops characteristic table, characteristic equation, and the excitation table. So we will be seeing this one by one. So first is the types of digital circuits. So we have already seen combinational circuits, and you very well know that you don't have any feedback path over there in the combinational circuit, and thereby there is no memory element in it, and also the outputs depend as such on the inputs, and the combinational circuit as such is designed using basic logic gates. Okay, so that is about the combinational circuit. Now coming to the sequential circuit. So I have mentioned you already. So in case of sequential circuit, you will be having the feedback path in it. So it can either be a combinational circuit with simple feedback. That is, if I am going to have an OR gate like this for one of it, and then I am going to have a AND gate like this. This is some random example I am taking actually. So here, if I am connecting the output to the input, then we call this circuit as a sequential circuit. However, this will be an asynchronous sequential circuit as we don't have any clock given to this. We will see what is this asynchronous and synchronous sequential circuit. Okay, so here you are not having any external memory element. However, the wire that we have connected for the feedback will be acting as a delay element. Okay, so that can also be a sort of memory element. Okay, so in that way too we can give a circuit with feedback. And other cases are we will have external memory elements as such. So the external memory elements that we use with respect to this design are the latches and flip-flops. So that is the basic building block in a sequential circuit. Okay. So here with respect to that, we will be naming something called state of the sequential circuit. Because as we are having a memory element included in it, we name them the present state. So here instead of current state, you will come across the term present state a lot, and the next state. Okay. So at this instant, what is my corresponding value? That we call it as the present state, and one time unit afterwards, what the value of that particular variable is going to be. That we call it as the next state. So as we move to the further topics, you will be able to understand this. For now, you just have this in mind. Okay. So you are having something called the present state and the next state. So the further classification of sequential circuit, as I mentioned, it is synchronous sequential circuit and asynchronous sequential circuit. So in case of synchronous sequential circuit, the name synchronous itself implies that there is some synchronous operation happening, right? So that is actually mentioned here as the transition happens at discrete instance of time. So this is the keyword. So even if your input is going to change value in between, the output will get changed only when the time is being synchronized. Okay. So that is what is the synchronous sequential circuit is. And in case of asynchronous sequential circuit, the output can change at any instant of time. So we will see what the advantage of having this synchronous operation and the asynchronous, what is the disadvantage, all those we will see. So the synchronous sequential circuit. So with the synchronous sequential circuit, you have a master clock generator. So clock implies it is a periodic train of pulses. Okay, so with respect to the digital circuit, it is always a square wave. Okay, so this we call it as the periodic train of clock pulses. Okay, ma. So in general, if you are going to consider our computer, everywhere you have a master clock in it, right? So with respect to that only, you will be giving the variation in this many megahertz, gigahertz, all those we say only with respect to this clock pulses. How fast the operation happens, all those we mention in terms of this clock only, okay? So we also call this as clocked sequential circuits. So instead of naming it as synchronous sequential circuit as such, we sometimes name it as clocked sequential circuits. And in many cases, we commonly use this one because of having the synchronous operation, we use this particular circuit. So owing to this synchronous thing, there is no instability problems. We will see that one by one, why we don't have any instability problem with respect to this synchronous sequential circuit. So here with synchronous sequential circuit, the single bit storage element, this flip-flop, as I mentioned, flip-flop or latch is the basic building block in a sequential circuit. So this flip-flop and latch can store 1 bit information, okay? So these are binary cells capable of storing 1 bit of information. So here, with respect to this flip-flops or latches, you have two outputs, one for the normal value and other for the complement value. So you will be getting both the normal output and the complement output. And this maintains the binary state indefinitely until directed by an input signal to switch state. So till your input is going to change, the corresponding binary value will be remaining the same. Okay, that is what this implies. It will not change value because it is basically a memory cell. So it will be maintaining the value until otherwise your input is changing. So the timing diagram. So this sort of representation, we call it as the timing diagram. So you will be coming across this. Okay. And the memory element, if it is going to be the flip-flop, then definitely there will be clock pulse given to it. Okay. So this synchronizes when current state changes happen. And because of this clock pulse only, the system is well behaved and it is easier to design and build any larger system. So before seeing the flip-flop with respect to the synchronous sequential circuit, we will first see what is meant by a latch. So latch, as the name implies, latch means it is latching upon some value. So that is what the meaning of latch is. So you will be having some value latched to it. So we call it a latch. So it stores some information, and these latches are made of the logic gates, that is the basic logic gates and the universal gates. So a stable value can be stored at inverter inputs. So here with latch or flip-flop, you often come across this cross-coupled structure. Cross-coupled structure. Okay. Cross-coupled in the sense the output of one gate is connected as input to the other gate. The same way, the output of this particular gate is connected as the input to the other gate. Okay. This is what we call it as the cross-coupled structure. We shall see one by one, then you will get a better idea. So first, let us see the SR latch. So in case of flip-flops as well as latches, so with latches and flip-flops, in both of these, we have 4 types, that is SR, JK, D and T. However, we will initially see only the functionality with respect to latch for SR and D alone. We will not be seeing for JK and T. I will let you know what the variation is with respect to the latch and flip-flop. Okay. So first, let us see the SR latch using NOR gates. So you will be constructing, or you can construct this latch or flip-flop using NOR gate or NAND gate. So we are going to give the cross-coupled structure. So this output is connected as one of the input to this one, and this output is connected as one of the input to this gate. So this is R, S, Q and Q bar. Okay, that is what we saw just previously, that you will be having 2 outputs, one for the normal value and other for the complement value, and this is our cross coupled structure. Okay, this is cross coupled NOR gate structure. So now let us see how this is going to function. So let us consider. So before going into this, we have to just remind with the operation of the NOR gate. So with NOR gate, when you are having 2 inputs, your output will be for 0, 0, your output is 1, 0, 1, output is 0, 1, 0, output is 0, and 1, 1, output is 0. That is the NOR gate functions exactly the complement of the OR gate. So here, when both the inputs are 0, the output is 1. If any of the input is 1, the output is 0. So you have to remember these cases before seeing how this latch is going to operate. Okay, va? So first, let us consider the case when S is equal to 1 and R is equal to 0. Okay, so I have said S is equal to 1. So this S value is equal to 1 and R is equal to 0. So just now we have seen if any of the input is 1, my output is 0. So for this particular So let me name this NOR gate to be 1 and 2 just for our reference. Okay. So here we are having S is equal to 1. So one of the input to the NOR gate is 1. So irrespective of the other input, my output value is going to be 0. Okay, va? Now here this is connected, or this value is actually fed back over here. So already here for R you are having a 0. The second input is also a 0 now. So your Q value will become 1. Okay. So when S is equal to 1 and R is equal to 0, Q is equal to 1 and Q bar is equal to 0. Right? Next, let us see the case when S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 0. So here, while analyzing, you have to have one thing in mind. If you are given with one of the input to be 1, you straight away start analyzing from that particular gate. Okay. And now with the second case, I have considered when S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 0. So you cannot say what the output for that particular gate is going to be without knowing the previous input value to this particular gate for any of these gates. Okay. So let us consider that case. So here our S has changed value to 0 now. Okay, va? So now both of these inputs S and R are 0. So directly you cannot say what the value of this Q and Q bar is going to be. So what we do is we consider, that is, let us consider this after this particular condition, that is with S equal to 1 and R equal to 0. After this, the S value alone has changed to 0. Okay, we shall assume it that way. So in that case, you are already having this Q is equal to 1, right? So now this particular input is 0 and the previous value of this input is 1. So this will give me again the output to be 0 over here. And if this is fed back again over here, the output is going to be 1 over there. So this is going to remain in the same condition. Okay. Now after this one, let us consider the case when S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 1. Okay, va? Let us consider this particular case. So now this is remaining the same. However, this is changing the value to 1, right? So we know if any one of the input is 1, straight away consider the output to be 0. So here as this input is 1, the output value, that is Q, is going to become 0. And here 0 with 0, so this will change to 1. Okay, va? So we get the output Q is equal to 0 and Q bar is equal to 1. Now we shall consider after this if my R value is changing to 0. Okay. So in this case, now again, so this 1 has become 0 again now. So now you have to wait for the previous value. So here R is equal to 0, S is also equal to 0. Here we have Q bar is equal to 1. So with respect to that, this output value is 0 as such, and this 0 goes over here, and therefore your output will be 1. So Q is equal to 0 and Q bar is equal to 1. Now As a fifth case, let us consider when both S is equal to 1 and R is equal to 1. So when S and R are equal to 1, what happens? We know if any one of the input is 1, output is going to be 0. So what happens? Without analyzing, you can say that Q is equal to 0 and Q bar is also equal to 0, which is a contradictory condition. Because one is supposed to be the normal output and the other one is supposed to be the complement output. However, with this condition, I am getting both the values Q and Q bar to be same. So we call this particular condition as forbidden. Okay, so wherever you are going to use SR latch using this NOR gates, we will see to it that the inputs S and R are not equal to 1 simultaneously. Okay?
Ma'am,
Because சொல்லுங்கப்பா.
ma'am, second and fourth condition, could you explain it once more, ma'am?
I will just come over there. Okay?
Okay.
So when both S and R are equal to 1, as this is a forbidden condition, wherever you use a SR latch, you will see to it this condition does not happen. That is, if the SR latch is constructed using NOR gates, you see to it both the inputs are not 1. And here, with the first condition, here when S is equal to 1 and R is equal to 0, we had this Q is equal to 1 and Q bar is equal to 0. So this condition, we call it as the set condition. The S represents set condition. And this S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 1, we call it as the reset condition. And when both S and R are equal to 0, this we call it as the no change condition. That is, whatever the previous value of Q and Q bar was, when this S and R value are going to be 0, it will retain the same value. Okay. So here, after the set condition, we had this S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 0. So the output remained the same. Whereas here, we had this S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 1 and Q equal to 0 and Q bar equal to 1. So the no change condition implies the Q and Q bar value will be remaining the same. Okay, so coming to the operation of these two conditions. So when you are going to have one of the input to be 1, you don't have any issue at all in analyzing the circuit, right? You come with a problem when you are having one of the or both the input are 0, you are having a problem in analyzing the circuit. So you have to just check what the previous value was over there. So with the first condition, for us, this occurred after the set condition. That is, we had S is equal to yes, Q and Q bar. And we had S is equal to 1 and R is equal to 0. That was our initial setup. And we got this Q is equal to 1 and Q bar is equal to 0. Now what am I doing is I am changing this S is equal to 1 to 0. Now straight away, as both S and R are equal to 0, you cannot just like that say what the output is going to be. You need to know this particular input, that is at least the feedback path input. For any of the case, you need that. So what was the previous value here? For this particular Q, you had 1 as the output. So this will be fed back for this NOR gate, and this we had 0. So this will be fed back to this NOR gate. Okay. So you will have here this NOR gate have both the inputs to be 0. So the output will remain 1 as such. Here, one of the input has become 1, so the output will become or will be remaining in 0 itself. Now you understand the condition?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. The same happens with respect to this condition also, the fourth condition also. Okay. Maybe we shall see that also. So you are having so this is R, S, Q and Q bar. So here we assume this to occur after the reset condition. That is, this was 1 and this was 0. So in that case, the Q value was 0 and Q bar was 1. That is what we got, because this is one of the input to the NOR gate is 1. So the corresponding output is 0. Here 0 with 0 will give you a 1. Now this 1 is changing to 0. So in that case, you need to have the previous value of it. So here you will get a 1 and here this will be a 0. So this remains in the same state itself. Okay, va? So understanding of this operation is important over here actually. Only then you will feel comfortable with this synchronous sequential circuit. So just to put these in a table form, we can say this to be Q bar, and let us give the comments for it. So initially, when S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 0, this is supposed to be Q bar. That is, whatever the value of Q and Q bar you had previously, it will be having the same thing. So we call this the no change condition. When S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 1, so R is equal to 1. So this is the reset condition. So this is the normal input. So this will be reset to 0. So Q bar is going to be 1. So this is our reset condition. And for 1, 0, we have as S is equal to 1, the normal input is set to 1. And for 1, 1, as both of these are 0, 0, we say this is the forbidden condition. Okay. In some cases, you will be coming across don't cares instead of 0, 0, because that is, we try to say this is indeterminate state. Indeterminate state. As this is a forbidden condition, we give that with X marks. Okay, va? So this is the table for SR latch constructed using NOR gates. So similar way, so that is what is mentioned here. For S and R value equal to 0, 0, it is no operation, or you can say this is no change state. That is, it is not going to change any of the things. And S equal to 0 and R is equal to 1 is reset. That is, Q is equal to 0. You are clearing the value of it. And for S equal to 1 and R is equal to 1, it is the set condition. We make this as the set state. And for S equal to 1 and R is equal to 0, it is indeterminate state, as both Q and Q bar are equal to 0. Okay, va? Okay. So next we shall move on to the SR latch with NAND gates. So here I will explain it here itself. So here using NAND gates, we have the cross coupled NAND gate structure. Okay. The output Q is fed to the input to this particular NAND gate, and Q bar is fed to one of the input of this particular NAND gate. So here this NAND gate usually performs the reverse operation with respect to NOR gate. So we often call this as S bar R bar latch. Instead of mentioning it straight away as SR latch, we sometimes mention it as S bar R bar. It is not mandatory that you always mention S bar R bar for construction using NAND gate. Sometimes we will use simply SR latch itself. Okay. So here, the same way, let us consider the condition S is equal to 1 and R is equal to 0. So before seeing that, for a NAND gate, if both the inputs are 1, output is 0, right? If any of the input is 0, the output is 1. So everywhere before analyzing, you need to have this in mind. Only then you will be able to analyze this. Okay. So when S is equal to 1 and R is equal to 0, let us consider the first case. So S is equal to 1 and R is equal to 0. So if any of the input is 0, the output is 1. So here you will have the second NAND gate's output to be 1. And this will be fed back over here. So 1 with 1 will give me the output Q to be 0, right? So we have this one. So as the name is S bar R bar, so here if S is equal to 1, that is actually the reset condition. Okay, that you need to have in mind. And if I am going to have this R value now given to be 1. So when one of the input to both the NAND gate is going to be 1, we don't know how it is going to function. So here this is 1. So this 0 is fed back over here and this 1 is fed back over here. And so it remains in the same value, right? The same case with 0, 1 and 1, 1. Okay. And for 0, 0, you will be having as one of the input to both the NAND gates are 0, your output is going to be 1. So this will be your forbidden or the indeterminate state. Okay. So the outputs are just reverse of what we saw with the SR using NOR gates. Okay, that you have to remember. That's why this is S bar R bar. You have to complement both of it in order to have the output similar to that of your NOR gate output. Okay, ma? That is what the meaning is. You understand this, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next. So till now with both NOR and NAND gate implementation of this SR latch, we didn't have any control input. Now we shall see if we are going to have a control input, because this will help us in understanding the flip-flop operation. So we shall see this latch with control input. So to avoid the unnecessary changes in the output, we use this control input. Because as I was mentioning, as you are not having any control over there, whenever your input changes, correspondingly the output will be changing. That will sometimes lead to instability problem. Or before the correct output settles in, the input will be changing. So that particular output will be missed out altogether. So to avoid all those things, we use a control input. And here, this is the main thing. latches are level sensitive. When we say level sensitive, it means you are giving a constant value for the control input. C is equal to 0 or C is equal to 1. That is based on how we are going to design the circuit. Okay, ba? So here with C is equal to 0, this disables all latch state changes. Okay, ba? That is like the enable input in decoder. We saw that one, right? So if a particular value is taken, the functionality of the decoder does not happen. For other value, the functionality happens the same way. So here for this particular circuit, if this C is equal to 0, the functionality, that is the latch functionality is disabled, and when C is equal to 1, the circuit functions as the latch. Okay, ba? So this part of the circuit is just same as that of your SR latch that we saw. Okay, the cross coupled structure, this is just similar to what we saw just now. So you have the control input C over here, and we saw just now for NAND gate. So both inputs 1 means output is 0, and any input is 0 means the output is 1. So I am writing this so that it will be easier for us to do the analysis. Okay, va? So here when this C value is equal to 0, right? So irrespective of my S and R value, so let us number this gates 1, 2, 3 and 4. So when this C is equal to 0, irrespective of my S and R value, always the NAND gates 1 and 2 will give me the output to be 1, right? So what happens when this is going to be 1? This NAND gate value is going to be 1, and this NAND gate value is also going to be, that is this particular input for the NAND gate is also going to be 1. So in that case, whatever the value of Q and Q bar, it will decide it, right? So this is going to be Q bar and this is going to be Q, right? So the NAND operation, what it implies, so you are going to have here 1 dot Q the whole bar, which is nothing but Q bar, and here it is 1 dot Q bar the whole bar, which is nothing but Q, right? That is what is mentioned in this particular line. So when C is equal to 0, irrespective of my S and R value, it is a no change condition. That is whatever the value of Q and Q bar were, it will be remaining the same thing. Okay, va? Now if we are going to change the value of this C to 1. So in that case alone, you have to know what the value of this S and R are going to be. Based on that, the output of the gate 1 and 2 differs, right? So here, when this S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 0, again the case is when one of the input to the NAND gate is 0, the output will be equal to 1, right? So again, this will remain in the same thing, and so you get the no change condition as such, right? And when S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 1. So what happens when one of the input to the NAND gate is 0, your output is 1. So this particular output will be 1. However, here you will be having 1, 1. So this becomes a 0. So now to analyze with, you will be having, so this will become, as this is a 0, here Q bar will become 1, right? Now this one and this one will give me a 0. So this will become the reset condition, right? So with the control input, what happened is our SR latch using NAND gate is actually functioning the same way as SR latch with NOR gate. That is the reason why we always don't mention it as S bar R bar latch, even if the internal construction is using NAND gate. Okay, va? So here we have come with the normal routine. That is where we had our latch constructed using NOR gate. So with C is equal to 1, if S and R value are as 0, 1, this is reset condition. The same way you can check for the set condition also. So here R is equal to 0 and this is equal to 1. So this particular output is going to be 1. Right? As one of the input is 0, the second NAND gate's output is going to be 1. And here as both the inputs, for the first NAND gate, as both the inputs are 1, your output is going to be 0. So what happens for the third NAND gate? One of the input is 0, so Q will be equal to 1. Now this Q is fed over here and 1 with 1 will give me Q bar equal to 0. So that corresponds to the set condition. And when both are 1, you will be coming with the 0, 0 output, as this will also become 1. So 1 and 1 will give me 0 in both the places. So if one of the input to the and NAND gate is 0, the output is 1. So both Q and Q bar are going to be 1 over here actually. Right? And becomes the indeterminate state. Okay, do you understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So to overcome this condition, that is, we are not supposed to have both S and R value to be 1. So to overcome this, we go for the D latch. What they do for that is, you are not given with S and R separately. You will be having one of the input to be complement of the other input. Okay. So earlier, this was your S and this was your R. Right? Now, instead of having it as two different inputs S and R, what we have made is, we have made S is equal to D and R is equal to D bar. So the input S and R are never going to be the same. Okay. So from this table itself, we can take the conditions only for these two values. So from these two values, if you check, we are going to denote that input as D. So here for C is equal to 1 and D is equal to 0, the output Q is 0. And when C is equal to 1 and D is equal to 1, the output Q is 1. The Q bar is going to be the invert of this. Okay. So that is what is mentioned here. So with control input 0, there is not going to be any change. Whereas when control input is 1 and D is equal to 0, the output Q is equal to 0 as such. And when D is equal to 1, the output is equal to 1. Okay. So this we also call it as transparent latch. That means whatever you have in the input, you will be getting that at the output. Okay. That is the reason for naming it as transparent latch, and this D correspond to that of data. Okay, va? So D is equal to Q when C is equal to 1 and no change when C is equal to 0. Okay. So that is about the D latch.
Ma'am, can you explain this D latch in the Microsoft whiteboard? சரியா புரியல ma'am.
Okay. So for D latch, so when C is equal to 0, so when C is equal to 0, the one of the input to the NAND gate 1 and 2 is 0, right? So output of the NAND gate 1 and 2 will be one of the input to NAND gates 1 and 2 are 0, and therefore output of NAND gates 1 and 2 is equal to 1. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So now what happens? So here you are having the feedback part. So in NAND gate 3, you will be having 1 dot q bar, the whole bar to be the output, which gives me q. And in NAND gate 4, it is 1 dot q the whole bar, so q bar. Okay, va? So when C is equal to 0, it is no change condition. Okay. Next, when C is equal to 1. So when C is equal to 1, as one of the input to the NAND gate 1 and 2 are 1, you have to know what the value of D and D bar is going to be. So let us consider D is equal to 1 first. Okay. So with the NAND gate 1, the inputs are 1 ANDed with 1 the whole bar, which is going to give me the output to be 0, right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
output is equal to 0 over here. And with the second NAND gate, the inputs are 1 ANDed with 0, because this is D bar, so 1 ANDed with 0. So the output is equal to 1, right? So here I am having a 1. If any input to the NAND gate is 0, the corresponding output is going to be 1. So in NAND gate 3, one of the input is 0, therefore the output is equal to 1. Right? Now this one is fed back over here, and in NAND gate 4, both inputs are 1. So the output is going to be 0. This is my Q and this is my Q bar. Okay. When D is equal to 1, Q is equal to 1 and Q bar is equal to 0. Same way, when C is equal to 1, considering D is equal to 0. So when D is equal to 0, what happens? The NAND gate 1 has one of the input to be 0. So your output is 1 over there. And for NAND gate 2, both the inputs are 1. Right? So output is 0 over here. So in this place, you are having a 0 and here you are having a 1. So for the fourth NAND gate, now one of the input is 0. So your output is equal to 1 over there. This is Q bar. Now this Q bar is fed back over here. So for the third NAND gate, both the inputs are 1. So the output is 0. This is my Q. Okay, va? Now,
Yes,
do you
ma'am.
understand this?
Yes,
So
ma'am. Thank you,
for
ma'am.
C is equal to 0 and D is don't care, your output is no change. That is Q will remain as such. And for C is equal to 1, D is equal to 1 means the output is 1, the set condition. And C is equal to 1, D is equal to 0, the output is 0, the reset condition. So the output follows the input. So we call this the transparent latch. Okay, va? Okay, so
Yes,
we
ma'am.
shall
Thank you.
continue this afterwards. So with flip-flops, the basic thing is you will be having this control input, but we call that a clock. Here we had the value to be either a 0 or 1, whereas in case of flip-flops, it will be a transition from 0 to 1 or 1 to 0. So we shall see that in the next class. So thank you guys.